Oh, hey. I didn't recognize you under all those marbles. Bernard brothers have a sexism problem. Or so we've been led to believe. Maybe it's just my own experience, but I've seen supporters of other candidates, including Hillary in 2016, call women I follow on Twitter all sorts of names. They comment on their appearance. They call them whores. Not that there's anything wrong with being a whore, but they use a word as if there is. A non-zero number of people have spent the last 3 years calling Susan Sarandon a bitch and a bimbo and the C-word and all sorts of things, tagging her directly on Twitter so that you'll see it when she logs on. I've seen more centrists than leftists calling awful conservative women like Kellyanne Conway and Sarah Huckabee Sanders all manner of misogynist invective. And yet we're told that Bernie supporters are exceptionally sexist. I'm not going to deny that there are sexist Bernie supporters because sexism is sadly everywhere. Misogyny is unfortunately pervasive throughout our society. Hell, throughout the world. And that's my point. Examples of misogyny are everywhere. They're so prevalent that if you were to selectively crop out everything around them, you can make a case that every candidate has a problem with misogynist supporters. Not just every candidate, but every fan of everything ever. Misogynist Taylor Swift fans. Misogynist Packers fans. Misogynist SpongeBob fans. Misogynist Hamilton fans. Misogynist dog lovers. Misogynist cat lovers. Misogynist fans of the 90s TV show Ghost Rider. Misogynist haters of the 90s TV show Ghost Rider. You get the picture. Seems a little silly to use that as a basis for dismissing or even hating any particular candidate. Especially considering that Sanders is the only candidate in our lifetime who seems to actually understand the inherently predatory nature of capitalism and the life-changing effect economic justice could have on the lives of marginalized people. Would you really deny them that future because you heard some people were rude online? Imagine if I searched Twitter for a bunch of examples of centrists calling leftist women sexist slurs and calling them ugly and commenting on their appearance, and I made a video about it and concluded, damn, I could never vote for Liz Warren, look how awful her supporters are. That'd be ridiculous, right? If Bernie supporters categorically depicted Warren supporters as being racist or sexist or whatever, we would be accused of attacks and bullying. And yet somehow it's okay for everyone else to smear the character of Sanders' supporters. And if any of us fight back against such insults, that's somehow just further evidence that we're aggressive, shitty people. Some of us are, in fact, unfortunately misogynist, and I'm sorry that's the case. But the vast, vast majority of us are not. And in fact, we decry misogyny even when it's hurled at terrible people we loathe. Even Ann Coulter. Here's the thing though, I think the whole effort is fundamentally disingenuous. Sure, there's a part about magnifying a selectively chosen sample as representative of the whole, as though looking at a close-up photo of someone's thumb means you can reasonably conclude that their whole body is made of thumbs. It's like how so many Americans associate Muslims with terrorism, even though there are 1.8 billion Muslims and only like 12,000 Islamic terrorists. It's called negativity bias, look it up. But beyond that, something stuck with me from 2016, the year that it currently is because it's been 2016 for over 4 years and it'll be 2016 for the rest of our lives due to an evil wizard's curse. I oppose American imperialism and have opposed it for, I'll say, decades at this point. And yet in 2016, the first 2016, when I condemned Hillary's foreign policy record, someone told me I was sexist because you just believe a woman isn't allowed to be aggressive, and that I wouldn't have these same complaints about a man. So forgive me if I'm not really buying accusations of misogyny levied by centrists as in any way accurate after that. This was someone I knew in real life, by the way, not just some internet rando. Seriously, imagine trying to shame someone for misogyny over not wanting Palestinians to get bombed. It's one of the most tortuous logic, bad faith arguments I have ever heard, and I'm still insulted about it years later. Well, the same year. 4 years later. Just to flesh out this maybe they don't know or don't care what misogyny is concept a little, the term Bernie bro is a gendered phrase that erases the many, many women who support him and who, by the way, are frequently accused of being aggressive. I've seen quite a number of leftist women accused of being actually men in disguise. Trans women in particular have complained about the term and the way that it misgenders them. Nevertheless, centrists persist. So I'm not sure if the people who insist on using terms that erase women and people of color and misgender trans people should be treated as authorities on where misogyny exists. Now, here's a very important disclaimer and the real point of all of this. What if I were to tell you that we're all in a big information bubble and that our own experiences with other people on social media aren't really representative of people as a whole at all? That our own confirmation biases allow us to easily locate things that piss us off and reinforce our pre-existing ideas? What if I told you that for the most part, Bernie supporters and Warren supporters and Biden supporters and even maybe Buttigieg's supporters,
not Bloomberg's,
are pretty good people who care a lot about things and people and how shitty the world is? Even the people who say shitty things sometimes are the supporters of other candidates. Hell, even the people who use misogynist invective against Susan Sarandon online are probably just good people who are mad about a world that's completely fucked up that they feel helpless to change. Social media, this digital torture chamber we've shackled ourselves up in for some reason, tends to amplify anger. Everyone's so fucking mad at each other all the time over everything. It's depressing. It feels bad. So maybe, just maybe, things would be a little more productive if we assumed positive intent and we didn't spend so much of our time in discourse getting mad at people who said mean things online. We're all pieces of shit sometimes. Do-do-do. But we're all largely on the same side, even if some of us don't fully realize just who all the enemies truly are. So let's stop with the Bernie bro shit, because it misgenders a lot of people and it erases a lot of people, and we're not really doing that trivializing stereotype bullshit to anyone else. Also, we should all be a lot more skeptical of any story the news seems super eager to embrace and pump out. The fact that so many news outlets owned by extremely wealthy people keep talking about Bernie bros should probably be sending up red flags for you. Seems silly to be so mad about Russia interfering with our elections when mega wealthy Americans manufacture consent constantly, and I see a lot of people just kind of unquestioningly parroting that propaganda. You are what you eat, and we're all way better than the bullshit we keep getting force-fed. Anyway, if you enjoy my content, please subscribe and recommend it to your friends. If you hate it, please recommend it to your enemies. Thanks very much for watching. We all have precious limited moments in this world, and I appreciate that you chose to spend some with me. Until next time, be seeing you.